Okay, so we're going to look at the topic ratio over the next few lessons, and we're going to start with by trying to understand what a ratio is and then solve some problems where a value and a ratio is given. This is a very important part of mathematics for everyday life. There's so many things that involve ratios. For example, cooking. You might have a recipe that serves 6, you only want to serve 4. You don't want to do something drastic to the recipe, you want to make sure it tastes exactly the same, so you're going to have to use ratios to alter the recipe. So we're going to look at simplifying ratios and solving problems. That's today's lesson. Then we're going to look at combining and splitting ratios, so that's the next couple of lessons. And then the third part of the topic is further ratio problem solving, and that's going to be the harder bit of the topic. The first part of the topic, which is what we're doing today, I think most of you can probably do, but we're going to treat this as a revision lesson. If you want to see where we're going and have a look at these problems in more detail, stop the video now and have a think about the problems. Otherwise, let's carry on. So my favourite colour is, you've got two colours to pick from, you've got red and blue. Do you prefer red or do you prefer blue? Well, suppose I have a class of children, which would be quite fun to have one day, and I've got 18 say red and 12 say blue. That will give me numbers, but maybe if I wanted to know what was the percentage, what was the ratio, I'm not concerned by exact numbers, I just wanted to know the relative size of how many voted for each. So I could do it by percentages. And percentages are fairly straightforward because 18 plus 12 is 30, so my red is going to be 18 out of 30 times 100, which will give me 60%, and my blue will be 40%. And again, I can do that very easily on a calculator. So they will indicate a proportion of some total or another. But another way of doing it is to use a ratio. And the ratio of the red to blue, I would say, is 3 to 2. Those double dots mean 2. So what exactly have I said? The ratio of people who chose red to blue is 3 to 2. My double dots being 2. What do I mean? For each of the 3 people who chose red, 2 chose blue. It could be we just had 3 red people and 2 blue, and the statement would be true. But what if I had 6 people who chose red, then I'd have 4 who chose blue, and it's still a case that for every 3 people who chose red, 2 are blue. But if we have 9 people and 6 blue, so 15 people in my class, 9 of them would have chosen red, 6 blue, and you can see that we can multiply or divide each part in the ratio by the same number and end up with an equivalent ratio. So we can scale ratios up and down, which means I can sort out my cake recipes. So, simplifying ratios. I'd like to stop the video now with the downloaded worksheet you've already got. Have a quick go at these. Then we're going to go through the answers and you can mark them as we go through them. So stop, have a go, then we'll start again. Okay, so for A, simplify the following 10 to 5. Well, if I divide both by 5, I get 2 to 1. If I would do 12 to 18, I can divide both by 6 and I can get 2 to 3. And 14 to 21 to 28, divide everything by 7, I get 2 to 3 to 4. So it's very, very much like cancelling fractions, except with fractions you can't have like a double numerator or a double denominator. So if I have 6 to 3, I get 2 to 1, 12 to 16, 3 to 4, 10 to 30, 1 to 3, 14 to 2 to 8. So the highest common factor is 2, I get 7 to 1 to 4. 16 to 24 to 40. Highest common factor is going to be 8. So divide everything by 8. 18 to 6 to 30, highest common factor is 6, so I get 3 to 1 to 5. I may not spot the highest common factor, and just like fractions, I can take a couple of goes to get there. So if I didn't see it straight away, the 16 to 24 to 40, I might have done 8 to 12 to 20. And then I might have done 4 to 6 to 10. And then I'd have got 2 to 3 to 5. But it'd taken me longer, but I'd still got the right answer. So Alice has £30, Bob has 35. What is the ratio of money Alice has to what Bob has? And the ratio is 30 to 35 is 6 to 7. So both of these numbers divide by 5. 5 goes into 36 times, 5 goes into 35 7 times. So, splitting an amount into a given ratio. For the next few examples, I'm going to give you two methods of doing it. I do not mind whether you do method 1 or method 2, or throughout your workings, one of them you do method 1, one you do method 2, depending on which route you think is easiest. It does not matter. But in the long run, if you are aware of two methods, it means you always have a check route. It also means sometimes one method is easier to do than the other. Most of the time, I would probably plump for method 1. So I've got ratio of muffins to cupcakes is 3 to 1. There's 20 cakes in total. How many muffins are there? Method 1. I identify what one part is. So we have 3 parts muffin to 1 part cupcake. So in total, we have 4 parts. And 4 parts is 20. So 1 part is 5 because I've divided. To get from 4 to 1, I've divided by 4. So I divide the 20 by 4 and I get 5. 4 5s are 20. So if 1 part is 5, 3 parts are 15 because 3 times 5 is 15. There's 15 cupcakes. This is how many muffins? Oh, no, there's 15 muffins. Sorry, that's written wrong. So the scaling way. For each of the 3 muffins, we have 1 cupcake. There's 4 cupcakes, but we want 20 cakes. So we have 5 lots of this, giving us 3 times 5 is 15 muffins, and 1 times 5 is 5 cupcakes. So this is a GCSE question from an IGCSE, which is the International GCSEs from 2013. Jack, Kate and Lila share some money in the ratios 5 to 9 to 6. In total, Jack and Kate receive €53. Work out the amount of money Lila receives. So, using method 1, what is 1 part? So, the one value given is €56, but how many parts does this represent? So, we have 14 parts, 5 and 9 is 56, because that is Jack and Kate's. Therefore, 1 part is 4. So 6 parts is €24, Lila gets 24. You don't, in GCSE, if you didn't write that last line, Lila gets €24, you would lose a mark. You are expected to write conclusions. This is not about, can I get the right answer? This is about, can I present my maths in a way that others can understand? So just bunging down an answer, even if it's correct, if it's a 4-mark question, you get 1 mark, not 4. The scaling method. For each €5, Kate gets €9 and Lila gets 6. Jack and Kate totals €14, but they've actually got €56. So 56 divided by 14 is 4. It's 4 times this. So I do 6 times 4, which is €24. See why I prefer method 1. I think for me intuitively that's easier, but it may not be for you. So therefore there are 2 methods. When one of the quantities is given, in a death match of monkeys versus squirrels, because obviously monkeys hate squirrels, the monkeys outnumber the squirrels by a ratio of 5 to 2. There are 35 monkeys. How many squirrels are there? So, the one value given is 35 monkeys. How many parts in the ratio does this represent? Well, it represents 5 parts. So 5 parts are 35. So 1 part will be 7. I divide 5 by 5 and I get 1, and I divide 35 by 5 and I get 7. I've got 2 parts of squirrels, so therefore 2 parts is 14, therefore I've got 14 squirrels. Do you know, I don't know whether you need more monkeys or squirrels for the death match, really. Oh well. The scaling way. For each 5 monkeys there are 2 squirrels. There are 35 monkeys, which is 7 times as many. Thus there are 7 times as many squirrels. 2 times 7 is 14. Again, I think I prefer the other one. Alice and Bob share some money in the ratio 7:4. Alice received £12 more than Bob. What did they receive in total? So what is 1 part worth? Well, Alice gets 3 parts more than Bob, because 7 take 4 is 3 and 3 parts is 12. Therefore 1 part is 4, and you've got 7 plus 4 parts, you've got 11 parts, which is 44. So the £12 represents the difference in parts. The scaling way. If Alice had £7, Bob would have £4. The difference is 3, but we want a £12 difference, so the scale everything by 4. Alice gets 7 times 4, which is 28. Bob gets 4 times 4, which is 16. 28 and 16 is 44. I think method 1 is still easier to me. So, I've got test your understanding. I'm going to ask you to stop this. I'm going to ask you to write full workings. I will give you the answers in a moment, but what I want to see from you is how you've worked it out. I don't just want to see an answer. So stop the video now, do the questions, write them down, and then we'll quickly check them. So, checking the questions. The ratio of cats to dogs at Battersea Dogs and Cats Home is 2:3. There are 45 animals in total. How many cats are there? There's 18 cats. Tom, Dick and Harry share some money in the ratio 4:7:2. Dick receives £35 more than Harry. How much did Tom and Dick receive in total? Well, hopefully you've got the answer 77. The ratio of the angles in a triangle is 4:3:2. Determine the largest angle. Okay, so you need to know what angles in a triangle add up to. They add up to 180 for those who are going, what do angles in a triangle add up to? So, and again, if you get a probability question, you need to know that total probabilities always add to 1. So think about this, the angles add up to 180. So 9 parts is 180, 1 part is 20 degrees, 4 parts is therefore 80, the largest angle is 80 degrees. So, ratios 2 are from equations or worded descriptions. This is definitely a little bit harder. And for some of you, what I've done is I've set 17 questions at the end and I've given you a choice. So for some of you, you might want to stop and go on to the easier part of the 10 questions. But some of you really do ought to listen to this. So the ratio of red balls to yellow balls is 1:3. If the number of red balls is x and the number of yellow balls is y, write an equation for x in terms of y. So the number of red balls is 1/3 of the number of yellow balls, so x is 1/3 y. The ratio of red balls to yellow balls is 3:5. If the number of red balls is x and the number of yellow balls is y, write an equation in terms of y. Well, the number of red balls, x, is 3/5 of the number of yellow balls, y, so x is 3/5 y. So it might be helpful to say there's 3 red balls and 5 yellow balls, then it's easier to see that 3 is 3/5 of 5. The number of yellow balls is twice the number of red balls. The number of green balls is 4 times the number of yellow balls. Determine the ratio of red to yellow to green. So, if there was 1 red ball, there'd be 2 yellow balls and therefore 8 green balls. The ratio therefore is 1 to 2 to 8. And we'd obtain the same ratio from any other starting number of red balls, but we would have to do some cancelling. So we're going to do it this way. Okay, so here's the exercise. I'm going to ask you to attempt 8 whole questions. So if you do question 1, you have to do all the individual parts. If you actually look at your you turn out you've got 17 questions. They do definitely get harder as you go on. So I don't mind if you pick questions 1 to 8. I don't mind if you pick questions 3 to 10. I don't mind if you do, I don't know, odd numbered questions, because that would, you know, again give you a spread of questions. You pick the questions that look interesting to you and you do them. And as long as 8 questions are done, you have satisfied what I need you to do. If you want to do more, please, I won't stop you. If you have a boring day or you feel that ratio questions are the best thing in the world, there's plenty here to get your teeth into. Off you go.